Commerce with Mac here today to speak about Cash Flow Quadrant, the book written by Robert T Kiyosoki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. So it's one of his famous book which I'm going to review today. Cash Flow Quadrant teaches many life lessons and also business lessons for any entrepreneurs who are planning to start up and who wanted to increase the level of assets and decrease the level of liabilities in the business. So let's move on to this topic. This is a financial book. So people who doesn't know how to use numbers, these books can teach you how to read numbers, and these books can explain you how financial terms are very easy. So I can actually recommend this book any person who is in non-financial fields. If you really want to know how financial thing works, then of course this book is going to be a good guide. Let us see what are the things we will find out in cash flow quadrant. You guys can see this is the author who has written the book, Robert T Kiyosoki, has to have a complete view on what he is, how he looks like. I took my camera a bit down, but then we'll move on to the point what we want to discuss. He teaches four things in this cash flow quadrants. Speaking, starting with employee, self-employed, business owner, as well as investor. So, who is an employee? Employee is a person who needs to have a job, who is so much concerned about security. Job security is very important. So, if you are an employee, how do you transform from employee to self-employment? Is taught in this book. I can't go very detailed into this content, but I'm going to go short and quick where you can understand what are the important areas which this book will cover. Now, moving on to the next part, self-employment. If you are having a job, the self-employed people always have a mindset that they should do everything. You ask any self-employed people, a doctor can be self-employed if he is having a own clinic. A lawyer can be a self-employee if he has his own law firm. So these self-employed people will always have a mindset that they are good in doing that particular thing. So they will not teach the work for others. But then the third person on the cash flow quadrant is the business, B type business owner. So you see this, the E and S quadrant, this side is what we say the left side of the cash flow quadrant. You can see I can draw this as well. And this side is what we say the right side of the cash flow quadrant. So he is teaching you how to transform from the left side to the right side, and how do we transform ourselves from the E to S, S to B, and B to I. For investors, like this, B is like business owners who wanted to make a system and they don't know how to make a system to work for them. And then this book is teaching you how to make a system and make the system work for you. And the next part is the investors. The people will never worry about the money, and these people are the golf players. You can see in golf club, they have good time with their family, they have good time with their to take vacations, but then they enjoy their life. So how are you going to turn from employee to self-employed and then move into business and then finally be an investor? Remember one particular thing in cash flow content which we learned, that this book doesn't teach you eventually to be from E to I. It goes from one step by step. So it teaches you the steps to go ahead. How do we lose? How do we like when you quit your job? What are the problems you might have? When you start up a self-employment, what are the problems you might have? What are success you might also gain the advantages of being self-employed? How you can make a system and make the system work for you, and how you can become an investor is also taught in this book. So let's move on to the next part of this book. This book guides a lot of things. You can see here the people who are earning under E quadrant. You can see they say as linear income and residual income, or in my terms, in easy terms, we can say it as active income and passive income. So people who think in employees, they think the more number of hours I work, the more income I get, and they always will run like a rat race. This type of people are people who are so worried about their income. They always run behind the job security. They feel that if they get enough income to their bank account, that's more than enough for them to survive. But then that's not the real life, because these people are always going to run the entire life, and they will always complain the government, they'll complain about the market, they will even complain if there's a raid. So they are a complaining part. Without employees, none of the organizations can work, but then employees have this mindset that the more number of hours they work, more income they earn. But then you speak about the next part, which is self-employment. You own a job and trading time for money, starting over every day at zero. So you think that, okay, when I can do the business, the more time I again put, I can earn income. But here, rather than an employee, he's a business owner. Somewhat, he might have some people, maybe one or two working under him. But then the work he feel like the main important things he will do inside the firm. thinking that he can control the entire firm only if he works. But then the business owners are a bit different. He manages people and he generates income. You can see here. So he thinks that the more work people gets, the more income he is getting. But still not that successful. These business owners are also known as baby boomers. Baby boomers means they have started the business, but then they have not settled, stabilized. Stabilized means surviving on the market more than 5 years is what is the stabilization and earning a good profit. But then the fourth one, which is known as the investor, these are the people who will actively earn a passive income. They don't earn, they just sleep, they get money into the bank account. They just play, they just get money into the bank account because they make a system and the system works for them and people and the system both work for them. They have some people, they teach their work to others, they train people and they educate. On the starting phase, whenever you start a work from employee to self-employment, when you lose a job, it will be very hard. But then the moment you get a job, you feel like when you do something what you like, you need to follow your passion. To reach this passive income, remember you need to do one particular thing, follow your passion. Then move, I'm sorry guys, we move on to the next part. Robert T Kiyosaki also said that there are two type of income earners, saying active income earners and passive income earners. You might see employed, you exchange your time and effort for an income. You don't work, you do not get paid. So these people always will complain, I work, month end, the salary is not enough. They will say I should do overtime so I can increase my salary. This is the mindset what they have. So this type of mindset people, we can't teach them the real life of taking risks because they are so much secure and comfortable with what they have. If you need to do something in your market and to be successful, take risk, guys. If you don't take risk, you will always stay the same underemployed section. Self-employed people, you work for yourself but can take a 6-week holiday and your business keeps on going without you. Can you expect that if you take a leave that your business will go without you? That's a problem. So even if you take a leave, if the business doesn't go, means you need to work. And again, these people work 7 days from morning to evening, thinking that if they work only, the business will survive. And then these people who are earning passive income, they make people work for them and they still manage it, but still they will have some sort of holidays. But then the investors are the people who know about investments. Now, when I speak about investments, I'm not talking about the stock market shares. I'm also talking about the real estate. You all remember McDonald's company owner? Yeah, McDonald's company owner, Ray Kroc said this term: "My business is not hamburger. My business is real estate." So, Robert T Kiyosoki is also saying, if you really want to be a businessman, you should try to own real estate rather than investing in any other stuff. But then going on to the real estate part is taught how to be a real estate owner, how to earn income to that level is also taught in this book. Then we move on the contents which I found very comfortable in this book. Number one, why don't you get a job? People always think that if they get a job, everything is okay, everything is fine, everything can be sorted out fast, but then it doesn't happen. We all been brought up a education system where we have been sent to school and our teacher says this particular thing: if you study well, you will get a good job. And what is meant by good job? Getting a salary every month is a good job? No. I'm saying that you need to understand something called financial freedom. This book speaks about financial freedom. Why don't you get a job? If you can get a job, what you love, there is where financial freedom is. You do what you love. This is a long-term perspective. You can't achieve success in a short-term period of time. Like YouTube, you take me as an example. I started this YouTube channel years back, maybe a year back, but then I don't still we didn't earn any income. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the income we earn. It's a long-term perspective. Passive income will not generate soon. It takes a lot of time, but then the effort and the persistence should always be there to be successful. Second part of this book speaks about different quadrant, different people. Every people have different mindset. Remember one particular thing: employees' mindset is always earning income. Self-employed people mindset is about more time they give, the more income they earn. But then business people's mindset is completely different. They know how employees and self-employed think, so they are thinking pattern is completely different. And then if you take investors, investors are also completely different because they know how these three people work under them. So this three people, this type of people's perspective is spoken under this book. And then third, why people choose security over freedom? Because when you take freedom, when you find freedom, you might give a lot of sacrifices, losses, financial losses, emotions, depression, you should come out all of it. And you should also say it for your parents. Like when you go to school, the teacher always says that if you don't take good grades, you don't have a future. I'm saying you one particular thing to achieve things you don't want good grades. Only persistence and patience and the knowledge about particular thing. Whatever you're going to do, learn about that particular thing. You will always be successful. Fourth part, the three kinds of business system. How these three systems work in today's world. Traditional C corporations like private limited and public limited companies, how franchises makes money, and how network marketing, how reference can create money is also spoken so deeper in this book. And then the interesting part, which I always wanted to say, is 5 levels of investors. In this, he's speaking about 5 type of investors in this book. The number one is known as the zero financial intelligence level. They do not have any knowledge about financing, so they will say investment is risk. They will always come up and say you will go through people like that in your life. Then the second people, the savers are losers level. They will always comes and says we need to save a lot, but then with the inflation time, the saving money and the interest rate what they are getting is going to be lower than the money they have put in bank. For example, if bank pays 2%, inflation is going to be 5%. You are losing 3% of your money, but people doesn't understand. They think that the more money you go and put in bank, the more interest you get paid. No banks work for your advantage. They all work for their advantage. Then the third one, I am too busy level. So what is this I am too busy level? They will take all their money and give to people who can manage it in a better way. But end of the day, if the things go wrong, they will always find a fault. They will always, these type of people also can be said in this way. Warren Buffett, the world's richest investor. So wherever Warren Buffett is investing, this type of investors will go and put their money. But then there are certain people, and remember, sometimes even history can go wrong. So if something goes wrong, they will lose the entire cash. Then the fourth one, the I am a professional level. So they are a bit professional. They know how golds work. They know how silver work. They know how bitcoins work. They know how things work. But then they invest and they are investing on the particular thing. They have sound knowledge, but not to the level of capitalist level. Capitalist level are the people who knows the laws, who know the taxes reforms, who know how to cope up with the regulation, who know what will happen in the future. So the foreseeable future view is always seen this type of investor. So for anything to be an investor, you should know the subject knowledge as much as possible. The deeper you go, the deeper you learn. Then the sixth thing, you cannot see money with your eyes. This is one of the important things you should learn in cash flow quadrant. Robert T Kiyosoki says that if you see money, if you cannot see money with your eyes, see through your mind. Like in visualization is one of the important things to become a financial successful business person. For example, if you take 10 years of time, from today to 10 years of time, how successful you are, you should visualize. That visualization can make you successful. That is one important thing. He believes that every person should have this visualization. How much money they should earn is also a part of this content. Then we move on to the seventh one, becoming who you are, following your passion, taking the lead, sacrifices you need to make to achieve the point where you wanted to is a great thing you need to do. So all these things with his life experience sharing, how broke he was at a certain age, and 26 when he took the decision, at 32 he failed, and again 33 he started again his business. So without failures you cannot succeed as a person. How do I get rich? There are a lot of sources. He explains the level of sources. What are the ways you can make? What are the ways you can ensure to spend in order to earn a lot of income? And then the ninth part, be the bank, not the banker. So he speaks about be the bank, not the banker. Whenever you take a loan, for example, if you take a mortgage for 100,000 by paying $10,000 upfront, the 90,000 is the spare cash which you get to make payment for mortgage. Try to sell the asset for more than 100,000, maybe 150,000. So you earn an income of 50,000. You don't lose anything. Whenever you do transaction, you should ensure that you should not lose money. You should always save money. If your financial investor says that invest in this property, you'll get a lot of income, then don't believe them. And then the last part of this book speaks about take baby steps. Everything start with one single step. You can't run without walking. So start walking, and then you can start to run. So every business need to take small adjustment every day. By this small adjustment improvement, the business can be successful. So finding a financial fast track, he explained how to find a mentor, how to guide, how to achieve success. Everything is in detail one by one. So I hope this video is explaining the entire thing about cash flow quadrants, and thank you for watching. and we'll come up with a new video on future. And subscribe my channel to learn with me and to see more book reviews in future. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.